So I thought it was time again. I really did think it was time again. I saw one of you guys post on one of my last AFL videos asking me to make more. Again, I don't know why you guys love my cute 5'8", chubby, fat ass so much, but I'm absolutely here for it. I thought it was time again to make a new AFL video again. I've got all my Richmond stuff on. We got my Richmond hat, my Richmond Guernsey. God, I look like a fucking virgin. And I've got my number. I don't know if you can see it. My mic's in the way. Shit. I got my number 7 on my back, which is the number that I've worn in all of my sport, and it's my glorious king, Liam Baker's number, who we're going to be starting off with today, because obviously we know there are a lot of rumors going around that Liam Baker is going to be going off to Perth. So in my way too early AFL trades and rumors part 2, we're going to be starting off with Liam Baker. Again, ton of rumors. Out of contract Tiger Liam Baker is said to be drawing rival interest ahead of the 2024 season, with several Victorian clubs reportedly eyeing the Western Australian. According to reports from John Ralph of the Herald Sun, the soon-to-be full-time midfielder, which again, this report was actually, I believe, before the season started. They've only tripled since this one came out. We know he is a full-time midfielder now. The soon full-time midfielder is said to is said to be keen to put contract talks on hold at the present to gauge where the Tigers stand under Adam Uze's new management. Well, we know where the Tigers stand, and it's fucking where North Melbourne is, which is pretty bad because goddamn, North Melbourne are worse than... Look, I'm pretty sure the Frankston Dolphins and Southport Sharks would probably touch North Melbourne without consent. Really, any given game. Again, Richmond are they're bottom 2 now. Very quite possibly going to finish last. There's every chance that they do, especially considering I think they've got a way harder fixture than North Melbourne. They got to win sometimes, right? Fuck, they haven't won all season. Please, someone just give North Melbourne fans a chance. Liam Baker is being linked to Fremantle. He's being linked to West Coast. From the rumours and speculation, it's being said that this man is going to be earning about 1.1 to 1.4 million a year. You guys at home might be thinking, that's a lot for a player who is near All-Australian level. Again, he's not an All-Australian. He's near it though. Is he worth that much? Well, let's be honest here. In today's day and age where all these players are getting a lot more money, the CBA went up, I think. Again, they're charging fucking $14 for a hot dog at the MCG. They can afford to pay these players a lot. The salary cap is only going to be getting way higher, and you're starting to see these deals come out. Again, Stu McCluggage rumored to be getting 1.3 to 1.4 million. McCluggage is in the same boat as Liam Baker, a near All-Australian player who plays a massive role. Again, why Baker is so special and why so many teams want him is, even though he averages about 22, 23 touches a game, it's just the 888 things that he can also do. You can send Liam Baker down forward and he'll be one of the best pressure forwards in the game, get you 16 touches any game, which is extremely elite for a small forward, and kick a goal or 2 every game, right? You can play him in the midfield where he's going to give you 23 disposals, be one of the best runners out there, be one of the best pressure tacklers out there, all these type of things. Or you can put him off half-back where if you were to put Liam Baker on the West Coast Eagles half-back line, who I think are still looking for a run and dash carry half-back, don't be surprised if this guy was to average 20 to 25 touches a game at West Coast off a half-back. Again, I believe he should probably go to the Eagles. I think Fremantle have enough down at half-back. They've also got enough in the midfield. I believe if Baker went to the Fremantle Dockers, it would probably be the forward line, which I think is where he's least effective out of the 3 positions. And if we're not counting ruck, obviously, because I don't think he'd be that good in the ruck, but that's just my personal opinion. I don't know, maybe Liam Baker might be the next Max Gawn, right? The thing is, at West Coast though, God, Liam Baker would be good. You look at West Coast and how they're going, there's a couple of things that they need. One of the biggest things, I think, in my opinion, is a run and carry half back. which Liam Baker would be fantastic at. And if you don't want to play him there and you want to play him as a full-time midfielder, oh my God, a midfield of Elliot Yeo, Harley Reid, Liam Baker, Ruben Jinbi, and whoever they probably draft at pick 3 or 4 this year would probably want to make me touch myself inappropriately. Again, what would the Tigers get back? If I was the Eagles, I'd be pretty happy to send off my future first-round pick for Liam Baker, especially if you're re-signing Elliot Yeo. Again, that Eagles team becomes very good if you bring in Baker. As I just said, another year to Harley Reid, a near all-Australian player in Liam Baker, another top 5 pick amongst all these really good young players we now are starting to see come back for the Eagles. Obviously, that's a team that's going to greatly rise up the ladder if you bring in Liam Baker, another top 5 pick, and all this type of stuff, right? The other player I wanted to talk about is Jack Graham. Jack Graham was also linked to the West Coast Eagles. Unfortunately, Jack Graham really just doesn't have a role in Richmond, and it doesn't work out. Again, he desperately needs a fresh start, and we got to think about this dude was a really elite young player in Richmond's premiership teams, and also finished second in their best and fairest at one point. It was one of their best players in their road to the finals in 2022 before injury. We got to remember as well, Jack Graham can still be a really good player. So they were able to bring in Jack Graham for a future third or something. Again, Baker, Graham, a top 5 pick, and the young core having another year at West Coast, a re-signing of Elliot Yeo. Yeah, I don't think that team's going to be in 16 for much longer. Something tells me that team is going to very much rise amongst the ranks, right? So will they go after Jack Graham? I'm not sure. I think Baker would be perfect for them. Will Baker re-sign at Richmond? I don't think so. I still hope so, because obviously there's a future captaincy riding on this. If Baker were to re-sign at Richmond, I have no doubts that he'd be the captain of Richmond next year. So it'd be interesting. There's also the fact that he bought a $2.5 million property in Perth. But yeah, enough about Liam Baker. It's very obvious that that's the team who's going to be linked to him.
Through the wastelands, through the highways.